Dallas, Texas. Scared Nick. It's that booming voice, man. Just wakes you up. Good evening. Welcome to the Chad Hasty Show. Steve Evans hanging out with you this evening. All you folks up in Amarillo, Wichita Falls, down around Abilene, Midland, Odessa, and back up to Lubbock, San Angelo, and everywhere in between online. It is a Monday. Woo! 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send a message, love to hear from you. See how your week started out. Mine started out great. I had a fantastic weekend. I don't know. I've talked about this on Sunday. I don't know if I've talked about it on the primetime show, but I'm in flight school. Just made this weird decision a little later in life. I want to fly. So I flew Saturday, and it was gorgeous. It was the reason that I chose to, I decided I wanted to fly. Day like that. The cloud, it was beautiful. We got on the ground. Everything was great. Got the plane secured. Flight instructor said, I got another student. And before I left the airport, man, that weather turned. I was so thankful because I was supposed to fly in the afternoon. And there's just no way. You just can't. It's just no way. But got up early, and man, what a beautiful. And there's just nothing could screw that up now. Had a great day yesterday and had an interesting day today. And because I'm trying to fly early, I'm getting up earlier. It's a good thing, Nick. I'm getting up earlier. I'm getting things done. And so everything went great today. I'm thinking that, if I have more perfect weekends, there's no such thing. If I have more perfect weekends, I'll have better Mondays. That's my theory. Now, everything was going great until, and this is when it really turned into a Monday. So I'm going to tell you this story to tell you the other story because they're kind of intertwined. So about a week ago, Friday? A group of young Republicans said, hey, we're going to have crawfish cook. I'm like, that's great. Love crawfish. And then it turned into, hey, can you cook? So we don't even know how to cook crawfish. No problem. We'll do that. And so then it turned into 400 pounds of crawfish. And for those of you that just eat crawfish but don't cook crawfish, 400 pounds, that is a lot of crawfish. And so we started looking, and they had to change the venue because of the weather. And I was just like, please cut this order down. Let's not cook so much. We're gonna have so much food. And it turned into 300 pounds, which was still, 200 pounds too much. And it's live, and it doesn't stay live for very long. You gotta cook it, right? So we had crawfish everywhere. There was a lot of crawfish. Now, thankfully, there were some churches in town that took some. We fed, you're welcome, Lubbock Police Department. From what I understand, they ate well. A lot of crawfish went over there. And it was in coolers. It was hot. But, so it was late, packed everything up on a trailer, crawfish cookers, and I got the big tilt basket cookers, and I put them on the trailer, and I backed it up in a warehouse over at my shop. Backed them up in there. And I forgot about them. You ever done that? Happened to me. Forgot about them. Well, I don't know if you've ever just put a crawfish cooker away, but it's not a good thing. So happened out in the warehouse today about, 1 o'clock. And that was horrid. The smell about knocked me down. I thought, oh no, I need to clean those cookers up. So I started in on that. And what I thought was a brilliant idea, rinse them out, get a pressure cooker, get a pressure washer, pressure wash them, right? Seems like a good idea. Oh, it was rotten, burnt. It was rotten because there's always the little ones that slip down underneath the tilt basket. And, I was in a hurry that night. I was done. We cooked. And so you're cooking 30 pounds at a time, 2 tilt basket cookers. So that's 60 pounds. Had to cook 300 pounds, and your average 45 to 60 minutes a batch. You got to heat the water up, got to cook, got to, let them soak and get all the spices in there. And, and then If you're cooking a lot, well, you don't change out the water. You just put a little more spice and a little more, and boy, those things get pretty spicy. I mean, it'll take the paint off a house, by the end of the day. And so I just drained them, didn't even really look at them, packed them up. Well, we had little baby crawfish, and it was gross. Hopefully you're not listening. No, you're not eating while you're listening, because I had mold in the cookers. It had already started to grow. Science experiments. It was horrid. I just hadn't walked over into the. I've got a. The warehouse has got its own doors. It's kind of sealed off over there. So anyway, I get back over. The pressure washer seems like a great idea until you blow that stuff all over you. I had rotten crawfish, got them all cleaned up, boiled them out, fired them up, got everything cleaned out, but rotten nasty. So that's how my Monday wrapped up, and had to run real quick and get cleaned up before I could come on the show. I couldn't do the show smelling like crawfish. That would be rude, right? That's the way I see it. It would be rude to do the show with you smelling like crawfish. Anyway, 806-680-2790. Love to hear from you. See how your Monday went, how it started out. I do have some great news, and let me flip this tab over here. Come on, now I'm going to lose it. Man, I hate when that happens. Bear with me. Yeah, just take a break while I get back over here. Texas Tech women's softball, the Lady Raiders. We found out over the weekend, the NCAA Selection Committee announced a 64-team field for the tournament on Sunday, with the Lady Raiders earning an 11 seed and hosting the Lubbock Regional for the second straight season. Joining Texas Tech in Lubbock is going to be Ole Miss, Boston University, and Marist. It's a little university out of New York. Tech will open regional play against Marist at 3:30 on Friday at Rocky Johnson Field. Season ticket holders and Red Raider Club donors will receive priority access to request regional tickets if available. Those tickets will go on sale to the general public later this week. Now, it would not be a college event without making this announcement also attached to the article. Tailgating, that's going to begin every day at 1 p.m. It'll include free food to the first 300 fans, open bar, giveaways, items, and inflatables. Now, here's where it lost me. Yeah. What's inflatables? Does anybody know? Is that like the air up boomsticks? Is that like, inflatable bat? Is that rubber ducky? Is it a life preserver, beach ball? I don't know what inflatables are. If you know, shoot me a text, 806-680-2790. But there's going to be inflatables. Now, when I read this, I read edibles, and I thought that is not a good idea. We don't need to be giving away free edibles and going to a ball game. It would be really hard to get everybody in there and really hard to get them back out. It would not be a very active crowd. So, no, it's inflatables that we're giving away at the game. So, if you know what that is, have an example of what an inflatable is. Nick, you got a clue what that might be? I don't know. Have you seen? I don't know. I have no idea.
All I can really think of is, do they have like inflatable guns up? Is that a thing?
That's a thing. I've seen them.
Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe it is going to be like a weird pool party situation. You've got just like little unicorn floaties, bouncing around in the crowd. I don't know.
Do you walk in with like an inflatable life preserver? Yeah. I don't know.
Little wings.
What that is.
I don't know. Yeah.
The little floaties. The swim helpers is what they call them. The little swim arm floaty things. I don't know. I want to know because I might just decide to show up, and I don't want to be not dressed appropriately if I show up in little swim wings, water waders, or whatever you call them. Anyway, a lot of off the wall things going on today. Got some national news. We'll take a look at a little bit of updates on Iran. There's not a lot because there's not a lot happening. They're still fighting. We'll take a look at that. I have. I've been watching redistricting. This is the battle. This is a big thing that I don't think is really getting enough news. To be honest with you, there is redistricting battles going on in several states, and we talked about Virginia last week. A little bit of update there, but I started looking at all the redistricting battles that are going on in several different states that could drastically impact the midterms. We can certainly take a look at that. I've got some Muslim news. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but some stories that deal with some issues, some Muslim issues, and the Islamic regime in the state of Texas. Involves Governor Abbott. 923 says, I think buying inflatables, they probably mean bouncy houses. Is it? Tailgating with bouncy that doesn't sound like a good idea to me either. Tailgating with bouncy houses. So, and maybe that's what it is, Mud. It could be inflatables for the kids, but I mean, open bar, giveaways, and inflatables. So, do this funnel, chug this beer, and then get in this bouncy house. I mean, they're going to need it's going to be the crawfish cooker scenario all over again. Somebody's going to have to pressure wash that out if we start doing a bunch of beer bongs and jumping in the inflatables, if that's what it is. But you could be right. It could be bouncy houses. I want to go now. Now I need to go and see what's going on. And then, of course, Tech's going to be busy. We got graduations going on. I've got a nephew graduating. I forgot. They're graduating on Friday. Got to Friday morning too. That seems like an odd deal. But there's so many graduations, different schools. They pack them in. Don't try to get a hotel room this weekend. They're going to be full. Let's see, 535 jumping in. The Democrats in Virginia have lost their ever-loving minds. We'll get to that. I'll come back to that one because I have a lot to say. I looked at several different states, kind of a summary of all the different redistricting challenges going on. But I'll get back to you, 535. Let's go ahead and fire off the break, 806-680-2790. We're just getting cranked up here on the Chad Hasty Show. Hey, quick break. I'll be right back.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. Trump took Iowa by 13 percentage points to win his second term. So how has the Hawkeye state suddenly become a political battleground? Also, how artificial intelligence is distorting everything economic. Hear why one analyst says an AI investment bust wouldn't be the worst thing. And how the sandwich generation can care for everybody. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News.
Weekday mornings at 5 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Add the KFYO text line to your contacts and voice your opinion during our local shows. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. News Talk 95.1 and 790. And on the KFYO app.
This is House Call for Health. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. The American Academy of Dermatology Association says it's to shine a light on how to reduce your risk of developing skin cancer, how to find skin cancer early when it's highly treatable, and the fact that people of all skin tones develop skin cancer. The association this year also tackling misinformation about skin cancer, offering signs to help spot misinformation. For instance, if tanning is recommended, they say that's misinformation because tanning either from the sun or with a machine is never harmless or healthy. If you're told to avoid sunscreen, also misinformation. And if sun protection is recommended only on hot sunny days, misinformation again. The sun can damage skin every day, even when it's cold or cloudy. An estimated 9,500 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with skin cancer every day. You can get more information at aad.org. Or for more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Tune in to Coast AM with me, George Norrie, every day from midnight to 5 on KFYO and on the KFYO app.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show, 806-680-2790. You'd like to send a message. 688 says, what type of plane were you flying? Just a little 172, little single engine, little tiny thing. But it flies. It does. It gets in the air. It does everything it's supposed to do. It's a fun little plane. I like it. Absolutely exhilarating. All right, let's see. Virginia, and I've got so much information. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to use here because it's all interconnected. But there is redistricting. Let's see. So let's look at this one first, and then I'll tell you what. Let me bring 535's text back up. The Democrats in Virginia have lost their ever-loving minds. They want to get rid of the judges on the Virginia Supreme Court simply because they're mad about their decision and they want to lower the retirement age to 54 so they can be in power forever because that's what Democrats do, because they're stupid. Thank you, Kendra. Because they're stupid. That sums up the whole day, because they're stupid. So we talked about the Virginia Supreme Court blocking the congressional districts. Now they're asking the Supreme Court to halt the Virginia ruling blocking congressional districts. And this, before I delve into this was always interesting to me. The way the Democrats look at this, they despise the Supreme Court. They despise the Supreme Court. And hey, Supreme Court, and hey, federal government, it's you argue about states' rights. 10th Amendment, I improperly use the scripture all the time. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. The 10th Amendment. Give to the states what belongs to the states. And then now we're going to ask the Supreme Court. I do not expect the Supreme Court to get in the middle of something that the state Supreme Court has ruled on. I don't think they will. I don't know. But they filed an emergency appeal today at the U.S. Supreme Court seeking to halt the state ruling, invalidating the ballot measure that would have given their party an additional 4 winnable House seats. We'll just give ourselves some House seats. Now, they're trying to say we did that in Texas, but not what we did. So this happened after we talked about this on Friday. The Virginia Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, struck down the constitutional amendment that voters narrowly passed last month over their own rules. 4-3 state court decision found the Democrat-controlled legislature improperly began the process of placing the amendment on the ballot after early voting had begun in Virginia's general election last fall. They have a process, so they didn't obey the process. They don't like that their state Supreme Court said you didn't obey that, and this is what it really boils down to. You didn't do the process the way it's supposed to, well, you're supposed to, and so we're going to strike it down. Well, we don't like that. We want to cheat, and we want to cheat and not obey our state laws and our notice procedures, and now we're not happy. So now we're going to appeal to the high court. They argued unsuccessfully that the U.S. Supreme Court has held that even if early voting is underway, an election does not happen until Election Day itself. Well, I've heard that argument made, but I disagree because, and this is one of the reasons that Chad was always for no early voting, Election Day. I mean, and I like to vote late too. You never know what's going to come out, but so early voting doesn't happen until Election Day. That's not true. People make decisions based on the information at hand, and the information changed. so they couldn't vote on it properly. So in that case, yes, voting is happening. Early voting is people casting votes, even though they may not be tabulated or revealed or shown until election day, until everybody's voted, because that, you start putting out information before everybody's voted, it messes with the vote. Voters want to go vote for the apparent winner now. So this is all balderdash. It's all ridiculous. As Kendra said, they're so stupid. Thank you, Kendra. I may use that a lot here. That may be the theme of the day. That's what Democrats do because they're stupid. It's so simple. The appeal is the latest twist in the nation's mid-decade redistricting competition, kicked off last year by President Trump, urging Republican-controlled states to redraw their lines, was supercharged by recent Supreme Court rulings severely weakening the Voting Rights Act. The court overrode the will of the people. I love it. Again, I'm reading the left tilt rag here, but they had the best write-up. Overrode the will of the people, ratified the amendment by ordering the Commonwealth to conduct its election with congressional districts that the people rejected. But not everybody. It may not have been. They may not have won because they put it on the ballot late. The irreparable harm resulting from the Supreme Court of Virginia's decision is profound and immediate. This is them petitioning the U.S. Supreme Court. The filing is a sign of Democrat desperation after Virginia, because they're stupid, Kendra. After the Virginia decision deprived them of 4 winnable seats in the mid-decade redistricting race that President Donald Trump kicked off last year. Democrats are still favorites to recapture the House of Representatives, but their GOP rivals have claimed to have gained more than a dozen seats. We don't know yet. We don't know. It's all going to play out through the courts. We still got several months to go to get to the general election. Voter-approved Virginia map would have partly offset that. Democrats are taking a legal long shot, asking the justices to reverse the Virginia court's ruling. Again, I don't know. It seems unlikely to me that but you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to bet you, just if I were betting, because Democrats are stupid, if I were betting that the Supreme Court's not going to pick it up, they're going to say, hey, your state Supreme Court has made their decision. We're going to stay out of it. Maybe. We'll see. Quick check of news and weather, and I'll be right back with more show. 806-680-2790. Steve Evans hanging out with you. Back in a moment.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Anti-lock brakes. Automatic lane correction. Rear view backup cameras. Of all the many features in vehicles designed to keep you safe, the most effective one is you. There are more big trucks and other vehicles on our roads these days, but you can safely share the road by keeping your eyes off your phone, slowing down, buckling up, and making sure you have plenty of room when passing. Be safe. Drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
TSN Headlines Tech Texas public schools are getting poor grades from the state's education commissioner. Mike Morath says we have a lot of work to do in a lot of areas. Enrollment down by 75,000 students this year. The state of Texas suing Netflix, accusing the company of spying on its customers, including children, by collecting their data without consent and designing its platform addictively. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton also says a new settlement with LG Electronics will give people more control over their privacy when using smart TVs. And Paxton demanding San Antonio City Hall let license handgun holders into open public meetings. We followed a boat explosion in the Miami area over the weekend. It turns out there's a Texas angle. Miami Herald reports the cabin cruiser is called Naughty Neighbors, registered in Sherman. Texas Parks and Wildlife Department has released more than 1 million Houston toad eggs at Bastrop State Park to help recover the endangered species. With your Texas news headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
Now more than ever, Texas energy security is national security. That's why Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick have endorsed Jim Wright's re-election to Railroad Commissioner. Jim Wright understands how important Texas energy is to make sure we keep America first. Jim Wright is focused on making sure hostile foreign nations can never have direct ownership or indirect influence on Texas energy. And he's not stopping there. Jim Wright will keep radical militant Islamists out of Texas energy, protecting our infrastructure and our future. Look at Jim Wright's results. Record oil revenues topping $6 billion, fueling our economy. Jim Wright knows energy independence is national security, keeping Texas strong and America secure. He'll always stand firm for Texas. Jim Wright, protecting Texas energy, securing America's future. Re-elect Jim Wright for Railroad Commissioner. Election day is May 26th. Political ad paid for by Texas Now PAC.
Lubbock South Lanes weather forecast. The temperatures are dropping after Monday's nice 82 degrees, dropping into the middle 50s, about 55 degrees. Tuesday's high temperatures around 94 degrees, plentiful sunshine over the area, and then temperatures around 96 degrees by Wednesday. We'll want to drink plenty of liquids and stay hydrated. The weather is brought to you by Sonic and the Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts of Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Financial news on KFYO.
Okay. I'm Dan Loney with Your Money Now. Wall Street with small gains today. All three indexes trading in a tight range. The Dow Industrial Average was up 95 points, ending the session at 49,704. The Nasdaq added 27 points. The S&P 500 gained 14. Both the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 once again posted record closes. President Trump is set to sign 2 executive orders on Monday to try and lower beef prices. It's the latest effort by the administration to counter the high consumer prices that people have been facing for many months. The areas of focus will look to increase beef imports and rebuild the domestic cattle herd. The administration is also planning to reduce tariffs on beef imports. Shares of Fox Corporation were up by about 4% today. The media giant beat on revenue and profit in its fiscal third quarter. Robust growth in its Tubi streaming platform, along with increased fees from cable and satellite subscribers, led the successful quarter. And that is Your Money Now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/.
Americans love their credit cards, one of the most secure and hassle-free ways to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. Now, this bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Empowering West Texas with news that matters. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO. Hey, welcome back. Steve Evans hanging out with you, 806-680-2790. I'd like to send a message. Let's see, we got another one from 535. I do what I can from a fan, Steve. I'd like to think Chad is up there giving me a high five. He and I agreed on most things. I agree, Kendra. I used to listen to your interactions. He would probably agree the Democrats are stupid. They're just stupid. Oh my goodness. So I found, of all places, I found an updated article on PBS. PBS News did a state-by-state guide to the redistricting fight. It's pretty good, really. I started to piece stuff together and came across this, and so it's going to regurgitate Virginia, but Republicans have opened up an advantage, and yeah, we have, in a national redistricting battle among states after a pair of court rulings that weakened federal Voting Rights Act protections for minorities and validated key Democrat redistricting efforts. Now, you have to tune out that part that that is the argument. It's always been it's weakening voting rights protections for minorities. That's the Democrat talking point. And you're going to keep hearing that. And so I'm going to keep saying it, but I'm going to point it out. That's what they believe. Courts have already weighed in on this. Recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling struck down a black majority congressional district in Louisiana, has provided grounds for Republicans in several southern states. That's what started Texas's redistricting efforts to try to eliminate House districts with large minority populations that had been protected under the Voting Rights Act. See, we say, hey, this wasn't fair. Democrats have been using this for years against us. And now they're saying, "Oh, this is weakening. This is hurting minorities." That's their talking point. It's these districts have been drawn by Democrats. Texas has not been red for that long. Not really. You want a really good read? I recommend it all the time. Read a book by Wayne Thornburn called Red State. It's exactly it outlines how Texas became red. It's a really good read. If we're not careful, you're going to be reading it backwards because it's all being kind of undone at the moment in the state. Virginia Supreme Court ruling invalidated voter-approved congressional map that Democrats had been counting on to deliver as many as 4 additional House seats. Court said that they violated the state constitution when placing the proposal on the ballot because nobody cheats like they do. Legislative voting districts typically are redrawn based on census data after the start of each decade, but an unusual spat of mid-decade redistricting broke out after the president urged Texas Republicans last year to reshape U.S. House districts to give the party an edge in the midterm elections. Our turn. And it's not giving us an edge. In my opinion, it was making things fair. If you go look at them, those districts were done by Democrats, and oh man, did they scream! Oh, you're trying to gerrymander. You're trying to. This is horrible. Look at what you're doing. It's terrible. Democrats in California countered with their own political gerrymandering that they've been doing for years in California, to the point there's going to get to the point there's no Republican seats. Many states are going to be that way if they keep allowing this to happen. So we're kind of fighting back, right? And the courts are with us right now. More states followed. So far, Republicans believe they could win up to 14 additional seats from new districts in Texas, Florida, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, and Tennessee. Democrats, meanwhile, think they could gain up to 6 seats from the new districts in California and Utah, but those tallies presume past voting patterns hold in November. Historically, the president's party tends to lose seats in the midterms. I'm concerned that could be a big problem for us. Democrats need to gain just a few seats in November to wrestle control of the House from Republicans, which would give them greater power to oppose Trump. And that's kind of like, it's like a two-front war. It really is. Because I see the Democrats going after the Senate. I think they want the Senate, and I think they want it real bad. Let's see, 777. I could swear that when we were kids, Republicans were blue. Not my imagination, is it? I don't remember. I don't remember back then. And it's probably the Mandela effect, too. Probably never happened. Ed McMahon was never part of Publishers Clearinghouse. I mean, that's what they say. I remember seeing the envelopes. I think they're crazy, not to get off on that digression. Oh, my goodness. But that's the key here. They're going after the Senate. I think that's the real goal. But if they can pick up seats and they can go after the House and they can win control of two branches, then the president can veto, but then they can discharge and still get things passed. That could be a mess. It's stuff that the Republicans, we never see them do it. We don't see them do it. I don't know why. Democrats will do it, though. But they would control the appointments. The Senate is the key to those. They would block every single... Trump would not get to make it. There would be no more confirmations. Trump wouldn't get to make any more appointments. It'd be over. They would block everything. Let's see. Quit with the Mandela. No. I think it's real. I think it's real. It's out there. That or they're messing with us, man. They're messing with our history. I think it's possible. I'm not a flat earther. I believe we went to the moon, but I also believe that Ed McMahon worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. I really do. Story for another time. Lawmakers in several states still considering plans for new U.S. House maps. Let's see. Current map, 2 Democrats, 4 Republicans in Louisiana. New map, Republican Governor Jeff Landry has postponed the May 16th. This has got everybody mad. It's postponed the May 16th congressional primary to allow lawmakers to revise U.S. House districts. Just wait a minute. We're going to stop voting. Let's redraw this and then we'll vote. In response to an April 29th Supreme Court ruling striking down a majority black congressional district. Several lawsuits have been filed in federal and state courts asserting that the governor lacked the authority to suspend the primary elections. We're watching that in Louisiana. Now we jump over to Alabama. The current map, 2 Democrats, 5 Republicans. Republican state officials hope to revert a U.S. House map passed in 23 but not previously used that could help Republicans win additional seats. The challenges it faces, the current map was imposed under a court order and is supposed to be used until after the 2030 census. State officials have asked federal courts to set aside that order in light of its ruling in the Louisiana redistricting case. And there's more, but I'm going to take a quick break and we'll wrap this up when we come back and wrap up the hour right here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Steve Evans hanging out with you, 806-680. Back in a moment.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, The Chad Hasty Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Heads up, Texas.
So you don't hit my car when I'm sitting at a stoplight.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can ride my bike safely.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can make it across the street without getting run over.
Heads up, Texas.
So I don't have to write you a ticket.
Heads up, Texas. Because driving and using your phone is a bad combination. Talk, text, crash. Brought to you by TxDOT.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Tuesday with Tom Collins and Matt Crow.
Jackie Howard of J. Howard Realty will be in the studio giving us tips on buying and selling your house.
Also, probably going to have a prize bomb on Tuesday.
Fun.
We've got stuff from Chopped and Sliced, Silver Bullet, and Tokyo Cafe, 6620 Milwaukee Avenue.
Securing America.
The Pentagon continues to emphasize how it's changing the way it does business with defense contractors. In a recent social media video, War Secretary Pete Hegseth spoke about how contractors used to double dip.
They charge you, the taxpayer, to build their factories, and then charge you again for the final product.
He says that will no longer happen.
Now, when a defense company expands its production to sell more equipment to the U.S. military, they pay the bill. They pay for new factories, assembly lines, manufacturing plants, not the taxpayer.
Hegseth added that the changes are working.
Defense companies are making things in higher volumes, much more quickly while keeping their prices flat.
The secretary says if a company doesn't deliver, the Pentagon will find someone else who will. He addressed several contractors in person during his recent Arsenal of Freedom tour. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. I'd like to send a message. So a couple things to clear up. The red-blue issue. Nick found a little quick snippet of an article. It just was talking about when election results flowed in on the night of November 2nd, 1976, Studio 8H at 30 Rockefeller Plaza in New York City lit up. Light bulbs on each state changed from undecided white to Republican blue, Democrat red. NBC declared Carter the winner at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time when Mississippi turned red. In the beginning, the blue political party was red and the red political party was blue for more than 2 decades. So, yes, I just didn't remember it that way. 777 says, what does a South African in jail have to do with our memory? I deny he was in jail. The Mandela effect goes back to, then this is a fun show because I collect Mandela effect examples. They're kind of fun and they're growing. It's because people remember that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s. He didn't die until 2013. He lived, he was on TV quite a bit. Who was it? Who was that drug addict singer that died? She had that free Nelson Mandela deal. Did it big, I'll think of it in a little bit. That's a whole lot of nothing. I just said right there. It was a singer. She died of a drug overdose, and she had a big benefit concert or something. It was about freeing Nelson Mandela. Anyway, that's what it has to do with it. 777. Anyway, let me get back to this. We're going to be all over the place. Let's see. He's weighing back in. Told you. Told me. What did you tell me? What did you tell? Oh, the red and blue. I got you. You're right. I just didn't remember. I just didn't remember it being that way. I was born in 74. So 76, I wasn't watching when Carter won. Or maybe I was. Maybe it was turned on. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. We did Alabama. They're 2 Democrats, 5 Republicans. They're big. They're 7 seats. South Carolina, we have 1 Democrat and 6 Republicans. Their new map, Republican state House members have proposed a new U.S. House map that could give the GOP a better chance at winning an additional seat. Trying to pick up that Democrat seat. State lawmakers are to wrap up their regular work on May 14th. The House voted to allow redistricting to be considered after then, but the extension would also need a 2/3 vote from the Senate. Not sure if they're going to get it there. Let's see. New House districts in place that affect this. Texas, let's see. New U.S. House districts in place in 8 states. 6 took it up voluntarily. 1 was required by the state constitution. The other did so after a court order. In our great state of Texas, 13 Democrats, 25 Republicans. The governor signed a revised House map into law last August that could help Republicans win 5 additional seats. U.S. Supreme Court in December cleared the way for the new districts to be used in this year's election. It has since overturned a lower court ruling that blocked the new map because it was racially gerrymandered. It was racially gerrymandered before we redrew the map. In California, the current map is 43 Democrats and 9 Republicans, and they want the rest of them. Voters in November approved a revised House districts drawn by the Democrat-led legislature that could help Democrats win 5 additional seats. The challenges to it, the U.S. Supreme Court in February allowed the new districts to be used in this year's election. It denied an appeal from Republicans and the Department of Justice, which claimed the districts impermissibly favor Hispanic voters. In Missouri, 2 Democrats, 6 Republicans, new map, the Governor Keogh signed a revised House map into law last September that could help Republicans win an additional seat. Cole County judge in the challenges ruled the new map is in effect as election officials work to determine whether a referendum petition seeking a statewide vote complies with constitutional criteria and contains enough valid petition signatures. Kind of fight that all the way. Missouri Supreme Court rejected a lawsuit claiming mid-decade redistricting is illegal. It's scheduled to hear arguments in May on claims the new districts violate compactness requirements and should be placed on hold pending the potential referendum. Now we jump over to North Carolina. 4 Democrats, 10 Republicans. The Republican-led General Assembly gave final approval in October to revisit districts that could help Republicans win an additional seat. I mean, it's really going to be the battleground down to onesies and twosies here. Federal court, here's the challenge to it. Federal court panel in November denied a request to block the revised districts from being used in the midterm elections. In Ohio, 5 Democrats, 10 Republicans, new map, bipartisan panel. Bipartisan panel composed primarily of Republicans voted in October to approve revised House districts that improve Republican chances of winning 2 additional seats. No challenges. The state constitution required the new districts before 26, the ones that actually did it because their constitution required it. Because Republicans had approved the prior map without sufficient Democrat support after the last census, Utah, no Democrats, 4 Republicans. A judge in November imposed revised House districts that could help Democrats win a seat. The court ruled that lawmakers had circumvented anti-gerrymandering standards passed by voters when adopting the prior map. Federal court panel and the state Supreme Court in February each rejected Republican challenges to the judicial map selection. Over in Florida, 8 Democrats, 20 Republicans. Ron DeSantis announced on May 4th that he had signed revised, it was Star Wars Day, by the way, May the 4th. He had the Force with him and signed revised U.S. House districts that improved the GOP chances of winning 4 additional seats. It's happening all over the place. Court challenges contend the new map violates a state constitution provision prohibiting districts from being drawn with intent to favor or disfavor a political party. Tennessee, 1 Democrat, 8 Republicans, a poor lonely Democrat. Governor Bill Lee signed new U.S. House districts May 7th that improved the GOP's chances of winning an additional seat by carving up the lone Democrat-held seat, black majority district that includes Memphis. Court challenges are expected ahead of the primaries, which are scheduled for August 6th. I mean, they got to hurry. They're going to, and this is the problem, man. Can you see, like, tons of injunctions and elections getting halted? And can you imagine if that was a presidential year? That was, oh my goodness, it would be unbelievable. Amy Winehouse is absolutely who I was thinking of, Nick. Yeah, she did this big free Nelson Mandela deal. It was, I don't think she helped him, but she thinks she did. You know, he's free now. So anyway, well, he's dead now, but he was free when he died. He was a free man when he died. Anyway, a lot to watch here because man. And then of course in the Supreme Court cycle, they're going to have to look at possibly emergency injunctions before they can hear these cases. I don't know, but boy, we're moving the maps around all over the place, all jockeying for the midterm elections. And again, I'm telling you, the Democrats want the Senate. They'll take the House too if they could, but they want the Senate. And they are watching these states where they have a chance. And that's where they are going to pour money into. And that affects the down ballot. It affects it greatly. It could affect all the way down to just a justice of the peace seat if enough money pours into the state. If they think it's a real battleground and a real chance to take a Senate seat, they'll do it. And that concerns me greatly. Turnout's going to be huge. All right, this is Texas Town Square Media Network. That's going to wrap up hour one of the program. I'm Steve Evans hanging out with you, 806-680-2790. Back in a minute.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
When the sun rises in West Texas, that doesn't just mean another day. It also means another story. From the moment the coffee brews to the first step out the door, KFYO is right there with you, bringing you breaking news, expert insight, local weather, and real talk. Not just noise, but the news that matters to Lubbock, the South Plains, and the great state of Texas. When you need to be informed, prepared, and just a little more connected to your community, you know where to turn. News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Listen online to News Talk KFYO on your computer at KFYO.com or on your phone through the KFYO app. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Take KFYO on the go with the KFYO app. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
It's 6 o'clock.
It's hanging by a thread. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump rejecting the response from Iran to the U.S. peace proposal.
President Trump says a counteroffer from Iran over the weekend is garbage, and the ceasefire is now unbelievably weak.
I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support.
The president has warned of resuming a bombing campaign if Iran fails to reach a deal with the U.S. that includes never having a nuclear weapon.
But in Iran, they have the moderates that dying to make a deal, and then you have the lunatics, and I guess they're a little bit afraid of the lunatics.
President Trump is traveling to Beijing this week to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping, a summit where Iran is expected to be a top issue.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The president posting on Truth Social that he's looking forward to his trip to China, which he called an amazing country with a leader respected by all. 2 patients infected with hantavirus from the ship where 3 people died have been taken to Atlanta's Emory University, where health officials say they're being monitored.
To the individuals that return today and their families, we are focused on delivering safe, respectful care and transparent communication. To the American public, we want you to know that we are here to protect your health and to ensure American communities remain healthy and safe.
The CDC's Dr. David Fitter. People from more than 20 countries have entered quarantine. A French woman was the latest to be confirmed as infected. Meanwhile, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he's concerned the government won't be able to respond if hantavirus spreads further.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Department of Health and Human Services, including, here's who Trump fired, cruise ship inspectors, port health station staff, disease detectives, and others.
The World Health Organization recommends 6 weeks of monitoring as the disease runs its course. America is listening to Fox News.
The Chad Hasty. Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Tuesday with Tom Collins and Matt Crow.
Jackie Howard of J. Howard Realty will be in the studio giving us tips on buying and selling your house.
Also, probably going to have a prize bomb on Tuesday.
Fun.
We've got stuff from Chopped and Sliced, Silver Bullet, and Tokyo Cafe, 6620 Milwaukee Avenue.
South Plains weather forecast. The temperatures are dropping after Monday's nice 82 degrees, dropping into the middle 50s, about 55 degrees. Tuesday's high temperatures around 94 degrees, wonderful sunshine over the area. And then temperatures around 96 degrees by Wednesday. We'll want to drink plenty of liquids and stay hydrated. The weather is brought to you by Sonic and the Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts of Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to Hour 2 of the program, 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send a message, Steve Evans hanging out with you this evening. I haven't even looked at weather. I'm just assuming it's okay. You know, usually I'll take a look at weather. And, I haven't done that today. Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe it's really bad and we just don't want to know. It's that time that we have to keep an eye on that severe weather. We get those afternoon storms, that afternoon heat pops up. I'm gonna quickly, while I'm just delaying here, I'm gonna load my weather app's being an idiot. Okay. Next segment. Since I didn't get it all going. So sorry. Oh my goodness. All right. It's like a shotgun approach to everything here. So I want to do this first. Let's see. I've got two of these. I'm going to flip a coin. So I've been tracking, the Muslim debate is really heating up. It really is. And so I think we're going to start to see it ramp up more and more. So this one I pulled last week, and I kept telling you we were going to talk about it, and never got to it. It happens. The American Muslim University in Dallas ordered to close by Higher Education Coordinating Board. Let's see, and this is an update. It's so good they've updated it. So per Governor Abbott's direction, the TEXAM, Texas American Muslim University at Dallas, whole division, touting Islamic studies as being at the core of its program, was ordered to close by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. I didn't even know this board existed. The THECB, we love our acronyms, don't we? To allegedly not be in compliance with state law, alongside a number of other Islam-related crackdowns occurring at Abbott's behest this week. The board issued a cease and desist letter against TEXAM. Let's see. I always keep thinking that looks like A&M, the way it reads. TEXAM. Don't say it's not A&M. Alleging that it does not have the legal authorization to operate as a university and protected legal classification in Texas. In order to operate or grant degrees in Texas, a private post-secondary educational institution is required to hold a certificate of authority. They're doing this on a technicality. Issued by the Higher Education Coordinating Board. TEXAM has never been granted a certificate of authority to operate in Texas. Therefore, TEXAM is prohibited by law from granting or offering to grant degrees. The board threatened that TEXAM will be handed over to the Texas Attorney General to his jurisdiction if it does not comply with their demands, including that TEXAM voluntarily and immediately cease offering, enrolling, and advertising instructional courses. It's certainly worth the discussion to the incoming Attorney General, and they're not campaigning on this that I'm aware of. And I think we would know in the 50 texts a day I get from the candidates all over the place campaigning. That's something we need to ban. More on that in a minute. The courses being offered for Spring 26 include science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM focuses, and those all sound great, but then they throw in Islamic economics, Islamic ethics in AI, and Sufism in Islam. Most of the courses are for 3 credits, which TEXAM states it will charge $99 for overseas students and 3 payments of $99 for U.S. residents. So it's cheaper to educate an overseas student. See the problems here? The website describes it. The TEXAM's website describes itself as the first university in the United States to offer STEM degree programs embedded with mandatory courses in Islamic studies. So if you want to go to this school, you have to take courses in Islamic studies. You're starting to see the problem unfold here. University offers specialized programs combining modern technology with Islamic services, equipping students with skills in digital innovation while preserving Islamic values. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. In a post on X, Abbott confirmed that he's directed the board to issue cease and desist to TEXAM, an unauthorized Islamic education institute operating illegally in Texas. Now, before I go any further, I'm curious what you think. 806-680-2790. Are these covers? Throw the conspiracy theories out. Is this covers for organizations that are going to radicalize? I think that's what the governor may think. I haven't talked to the governor about it, but I think that's the problem. And so, hey, listen, you're not a legitimate organization and you've got mandatory Islamic studies. We don't really like that here. So I wonder, does this fall along the lines of where the governor needs to declare, and he's declared the some organizations as terroristic, which will give you that authority. Is this going to go to court? Is this going to get challenged? Is this going to, right to worship, freedom of religion, those kind of things? That's what I see a big old court battle happening here. But they very well could be fronts. I don't know. That's what concerns me. And the problem is, by the time we figure it all out, it's too late. They've already done the damage. Let's see. Our intent is to work collaboratively with the state to resolve any issues. We're committed to seeking appropriate authorizations before granting any degrees or credentials. That is from the school. Let's see. And then it's referencing another story that I'm going to get to in the next segment. We may bring it up. We got a few more minutes here. But Abbott's office also demanded Grand Prairie leadership cancel the DFW Epic Ed EID celebration. Muslim event held in the city-owned Epic Waters water park. We'll pick that one up here in just a minute. The event hosts originally advertised as being Muslim only, so he shut that one down. So this is just the first of many. And so what's interesting is this is the naivety here. I thought we knew about all of the American Muslim education and training, and I mean, it just seems like it would get called out on every level. Like the news would be all over it, but yet we keep seeing these organizations we didn't know about before pop up. We've got a local mosques popping up. I forget the statistic. I don't have it in front of me now, but the number of mosques that have popped up in the state of Texas is a bunch. I think we covered that here not that long ago. A bunch. Rapidly expanding religion. I don't know. I always wonder when you see things like this, is this the smoke and mirrors? What else is going on? We're focused on one thing. Something else is going on. We're focused on redistricting. What else is going on? We're focused on closing down and the governor going after the Muslim issues. What else is going on? It's always waiting for that ball to drop. Maybe it's hantavirus. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the fabrication of the new pandemic that got way too much press again today. Now we're analyzing it affected 2 or 3 people. I don't know. It's like 16 people. It's affected. I guarantee you, and I've seen a few articles start to pop up and posts start to pop up on X about, oh my gosh, the next pandemic, we need to be diligent. You need to just need to wash your hands and stay away from rodents. That's what you need to do. Just use soap. Soap works. Just use that. We've been using that for years. Soap works. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, we're going to pick up, we might take the break a little bit early here, Nick, because I want to pick up this story about about the water park thing. It's fast and furious in the state of Texas right now, and I don't see a lot happening in other states. Why ours? I don't know. Take a quick break. Be right back.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking. which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. Steve Evans hanging out with you. Send us a text. I'd love to hear from you. So picking up this other story, Governor Abbott's office notified the Grand Prairie mayor to cancel the DFW Epic, I'm gonna pronounce this as Adala holiday, Ed Epic EID, Ed celebration, whatever they call it, a Muslim event to be held at the city-owned, that's the big key there, city-owned Epic Waters Indoor Park. A public safety officer sent the letter to Mayor Jensen on Wednesday. And this was this one I had in the stack, but there was kind of seemed like all the Muslim talk started to build up. So I sat on it for a little bit, see if there's going to be any more. Regarding the event celebrating their holiday, the event's host, Dr. Amani Knight, originally advertised the event as being Muslim only before changing the flyer. Now, so here's the argument. Before I go any further, it's city-owned. Do they have a right to do that? Do they have a right to go in and say, we're going to host an event? Can the city lease it to them? Can they hold it? And see, we get mad. What if we had a Christian-only, believers-only event? What if we had a Republicans only, a Democrats only event? What if we had a whatever event? Would we still be as upset? Now, I'm concerned with the rapid growth of the Muslim culture. I am. Sorry. I just am, because it breeds radicalization. But at the same time, we have to be careful. What if this was a private water park? There's the discussion, 806-680-2790. If it's a private water park, then where are we at? Muslim-only event at a private water park. I mean, I think they could do that if they lease the thing. What if they're going to, I don't know, let's take a city park facility or a county facility. Can I rent, in Lubbock County, we got county clubhouses in every precinct. Can I rent a county clubhouse and have a whatever, question mark, event only? Can I do that? Where does it cross the line? And I don't know. And there's going to be policies in place for each one of those. You can't have a partisan event. You can't have a nonpartisan event. You can't have a march. You can't have there's use standards there. But I think that's the key, is it's city owned. And so we argue about that, which is not in the Constitution, the separation of church and state, but it's the idea that it stays out of it. So I don't think cities should own stuff anyway. Honestly don't. I think the city might be able to own City Hall. I don't think it should own anything else. Maybe equipment, maybe facilities enough to house that equipment, but is DFW's water park, the Grand Prairie Water Park, can it exist? Can a private organization not operate that? The problem that I see when these things happen is the city purchases them because they're failing. Well, we want to keep this water park going because we want the city of Grand Prairie for tourism or whatever to have this great water park, so we're going to buy the thing and keep it going. But it loses money, so we'll just supplement it with taxpayer dollars when it just needs to fail. It's that age-old parks and splash pads and pools argument, you know. And then you run into problems like this. Now the city owns it, and now we're going to at least say it's going to be a Muslim-only event. In response to feedback, they have updated their materials to clearly reflect this is a modest dress-only event centered around respectful and family-friendly environment. What happens if you show up and you're not in the particular dress that they want you to be? We've already seen the attacks on stores in neighborhoods and restaurants and corner stores, convenience stores that, you know, they come in and the Muslim community comes in and says, you are going to do this, or we're going to make sure you're shut down. We're going to, and I mean, you know, they threaten people. Don't go in this store. We're already seeing that. So what would happen if I showed up to this celebration and, or let's say what happened if I showed up with my wife that was in a two-piece bathing suit that would normally be acceptable at that water park. Now, all of a sudden, it was first a Muslim-only event, now modest dress event. Now, can they do that? And I think that's the argument. So Dr. Aman Knight said that she rented the water park last year for a private event for Muslim families, nearly 600 people to attend. It costs money to rent out this park. If you'd like to pay about $5,000 an hour to rent out the park, you should do that for your community, is what she said. I said, do some online comments. There'll be extra security. Epic Water is owned by the city, managed by a third-party operator. One of these grand public-private partnerships that drive me crazy. Not getting off on that digression tonight. That'll take the rest of the night for me to scream and holler about that. City of Grand Prairie said in a statement Tuesday, like other city-owned facilities available for rent by individuals and organizations. So that brings us to the argument. Can the governor do this? Let's see. In a May 6th post on social media, the governor called the event religious discrimination and unconstitutional. The first hint that the broader public is not really welcome, however, is language explaining that any women wishing to attend must wear burqas or burkinis. Is burkinis a thing? The PSO letter said the organizer's website makes matters clear, stating that this event is closed to the general public, and at all times attendees must dress in accordance with Islamic values. I know a lot of people that would go protest this thing. If there were any doubt remaining, the website dispels the entire water park has been exclusively reserved for Muslims, the letter stated. The city must cancel the event and commit to never allowing something like it again by May 11th or lose $500,000 in state grants. Governor's serious. Let this be a lesson to local officials. Facilities funded by all taxpayers are not just a subset of Texans, are not just for a subset of Texans. Now, I think if they want to go buy their own water park, private water park, and make it a private, I mean, it's not going to survive either, but make it a private, and you can have burkinis or whatever you want. It's your water park. Do whatever you want. But taxpayer dollars, probably, if you've stayed in a hotel in Grand Prairie, you have paid hotel occupancy tax. Your money's probably paying for it. They're probably using hot tax for this. Brandon Waltons of Texas Scorecard posted on social media, Grand Prairie Mayor Ron Jensen tells me he's not about to try and guess what will satisfy the governor, adding that the city has not said whether the event will be canceled. If they're going to lose half a billion in state grants, half a million in state grants, they might look at it. I guarantee you that thing's not bringing them any revenue. Cities can't operate. Give me an example of a city that's able to operate something like that and keep it in the black. Certainly not with that. It's got to be subsidized with taxpayer dollars. It's always in the budget somewhere. The governor goes on, I signed House Bill 4211 into law banning Muslim-only no-go zones in Texas, referencing the residential property bill passed in the 89th session, authored by Candy Noble. Representative Candy Noble, House Bill 4211 prohibits a managing entity from discriminating in manners related to ownership interest in a way that would violate Texas fair housing laws if the interest were in real property, including redistricting the transfer of the interest, imposing requirements to maintain the interest, or refusing to grant an interest to an otherwise qualified person. This was about creating Muslim or really about banning Sharia law, creating Muslim communities, and then Sharia law starting to grow out of those communities. That's what it's really about. It doesn't specifically mention Islam or Muslims. The governor's office said in a September press release the law was intended to ban residential property developments like Epic City from creating Sharia compounds and defrauding and discriminating against Texans. Absolutely what it's for. Epic City was originally pitched as an Islamic community near Josephine, east of Dallas. The planned 402-acre development includes an Islamic K-12 school, a mosque, retail shops, housing units. In 2024, the East Plano Islamic Center, one of the largest mosques in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, announced a partnership with Community Capital Partner to build residential development, which would later be branded as The Meadow. Part of ongoing legal battles. That's the key to all this. More on this when we come back. Your text and more. Time for news and weather. Be right back.
Call in to the Chad Hasty Show at 1-800-687-0790. The Chad Hasty Show, broadcasting on the Texas Town Square Media Network.
When I'm driving, I look twice for motorcycles.
I look twice because motorcycles are easy to miss.
I look twice just in case a motorcycle's in my blind spot.
I look twice at intersections and before I turn left.
I look twice because I want to know for sure.
I look twice for motorcycles because I don't want to hurt anyone.
Look twice for motorcycles. There's a life riding on it. A message from Texas Department of Transportation.
Hi, Angie. This is your phone here in the cup holder. Pick me up.
No, I'm driving.
Oh, look, a text from Mr. Dreamy.
Hush, driving here.
I'm getting an email. Gwen is giving away free bunnies.
No, you are so pushy.
I know. I need therapy. Let's search it now.
Phone, quiet.
Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Talk, text, crash. A message from TxDOT.
Inadequate with failing grades. That's how the Texas Education Commissioner Mike Morath described the state of public education in Texas at a hearing at the state capitol. Public schools saw enrollment drop by 75,000 students this school year. AG Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton suing Netflix for spying on kids. He says a new settlement with LG Electronics will give people more control over their privacy when using smart TVs. Dallas police make an arrest in the death of a 2-year-old. The child shot at a home last month, and police say 25-year-old Todrick Austin had been on the run. They tracked his social media postings. That helped them find a location and take him into custody. They also arrested a second man and seized guns and drugs. Webb County is taking the first step to remove the county sheriff from office. It's been 6 months since a federal grand jury indicted Martin Cuellar on fraud. Harris County Treasurer Carla White spent the weekend in the Galveston County Jail. Police in Texas City arrested her on DUI. With your Texas News headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
The rental team at ASCO is ready to help you find the right equipment to do the job. For over 65 years, we've dedicated ourselves to supporting you with fast service and reliable equipment. Choose from daily, weekly, or long-term rental options to fit your project's needs. Buy it, rent it, support it. We're on it at ASCO Equipment. Visit ASCOEQ.com for your next equipment rental. That's ASCOEQ.com.
Digging without contacting Texas 811 first could cost more than you think. Texas 811 is a free service that helps you avoid damaging underground utilities like electric or gas lines. Every year, accidents happen because someone didn't take a moment to contact 811. Whether installing a fence or working on a construction site, contacting Texas 811 is the law. It's quick, free, and keeps you safe. Visit Texas811.org today for more information. Safe digging starts with one simple step. Make it today.
Lubbock South Plains weather forecast. The temperatures are dropping after Monday's nice 82 degrees, dropping into the middle 50s, about 55 degrees. Tuesday's high temperatures around 94 degrees, plentiful sunshine over the area, and then temperatures around 96 degrees by Wednesday. We'll want to drink plenty of liquids and stay hydrated. The weather is brought to you by Sonic and the Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts of Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. Trump took Iowa by 13 percentage points to win his second term. So how has the Hawkeye state suddenly become a political battleground? Also, how artificial intelligence is distorting everything economic. Hear why one analyst says an AI investment bust wouldn't be the worst thing, and how the sandwich generation can care for everybody. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News.
Weekday mornings at 5 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
I'm Anna Eliopoulos with your Fox True Crime Minute. Renewed justice for a Kentucky man falsely convicted of murder. Jeffrey Clark spent over 2 decades behind bars for the 1992 stabbing death of Rhonda Sue Warford, a crime he says he never committed. His conviction was finally vacated in 2016 after new DNA testing exonerated him, undermining key evidence used at trial. And 2 years later, his charges were formally dismissed. Now Clark is being compensated for his troubles, a jury awarding him over $24 million in a civil lawsuit where he argued that investigators engaged in misconduct to secure the conviction, including fabricating statements, pressuring witnesses, and withholding evidence that supported his innocence. Officials with Meade County say they are reviewing the verdict. Warford's murder remains unsolved, and no one has been convicted in the case. There's more on this story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Anna Eliopoulos with your Fox True Crime Minute.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Welcome back. 806-680-2790. Text messages are rolling in. Does this water park ever have churches rented out and have strict rules for attendees? I'm curious. I don't know, Kendra, if they do or not. Try advertising an event like this in Grand Prairie as whites only. There would be no doubt it would not happen. Well, no doubt. I agree. I didn't know what a burkini was. I went and looked it up. You can get one on Amazon made in China. I don't know if there's a problem with that or not. You can get one made in China. I wonder if you could make those and just weave pigskin into the material. Could you do that? Anybody want to start a burkini company? Oh, they would never know. These things are, you would not want to wear one of these in the sun. It completely covers you. Be hot, and they're probably, if they're swimwear, what are they made out of? Spandex or nylon or all the things that swimwear is made out of. Be comfortable at all. And then it's like a dress, so when you come out of the water, is the thing not just clinging to you? Isn't that too revealing for the Muslim culture? I don't know. They're pretty bad. I'm getting some drive-by texts about let's just go dress up in one and crash the party. Party's not going to happen. I don't know. We haven't seen yet if the party's going to happen. Okay, shifting gears just a little bit. It's the Iran thing is kind of, I haven't really talked. I didn't talk about it much last week. Just little updates here and there. But it's stalled out. And I'm getting a little tired of paying $4 at the pump. It's getting there. What's going to happen when we get to $5 at the pump? It's well over $5. What are you paying in California? Mark, if you're listening tonight, what's a gallon of gas cost in California? It's probably $6, $7. Getting a little tired of it, Mr. President. Time to do something. And it's not like, we're still pumping this. This is the thing that's crazy about all of it. We're still pumping the same oil. Plus, we picked all the heavy crude up from Venezuela that we didn't have before. We're actually doing pretty good, but the global market, because they can't get tankers out of Iran that supplies Russia and other places, it's driving our costs, or driving the price per barrel up. And so we're having to pay more because the refiners are having to pay more. That's not our fault at all. I'm getting kind of tired of it. And then we got there's oil getting spilled in the Straits of Hormuz. They've got an aging tanker fleet that wasn't doing good to begin with. Now we're having to take some pop shots at them once in a while to tell them to stop. So today, Trump, talking to reporters himself, didn't use press secretary, didn't use Marco Rubio for it. Says the Iran ceasefire is on life support after the U.S. rejects the latest proposal. So some quick highlights. He's rejected the proposal to end the war over lack of satisfactory nuclear concessions. That's got to be part of the deal. It's got to be part of the deal. The stalled diplomacy follows recent exchanges of fire between the two countries, while Iran's chokehold on the Straits of Hormuz and the U.S. blockade of the Iranian ports remain in place. Trump also said Monday he would indefinitely suspend the federal gas tax. He can't do that on his own. He needs congressional approval to do that. War continues to send fuel prices skyrocketing and rattle world markets after Trump's comment on the weakness of the ceasefire. The price for a barrel of Brent crude oil climbed 2.9% to $104. Yeah, it's you heard right. 341 says I heard Trump suspending the federal tax on gas. What I didn't look up is I don't think it's that much. Is it? Is it that? I know there's not a lot of cost margin in fuel. I'm gonna look here. Well, you just sit tight there. Oh, let's see if I can. While we're looking, I need to know. Let's see. As of May 26, federal gas tax remains 18.4 cents per gallon for gasoline and 24.4 cents per gallon of diesel. That ain't gonna help much. It'll help a little bit, but not much because the prices keep rising. $104 crude. We need a barrel of oil to be down there. What is the sweet spot? $65 to $75 a barrel. Everybody makes money. People can afford to buy the gasoline. The repercussions in jet fuel and for airplanes, those tickets are going to start going up. They're already going up. It's already going to get to the point you can't afford to fly. A lot of people could rarely afford to fly. And now with prices going through the roof, those ticket prices start to fluctuate. I suspect I'm not going to get to enjoy the same price I'm renting airplanes for because fuel's going up. It's going to start costing more. Trump's going to travel to Beijing this week for a rescheduled summit with Chinese president. Beijing's deep economic ties to Iran, as well as trade tensions over tariff threats stretching back to Trump's first term, could crimp the meeting, even though Republican president has for years been able to has praised the president. Just some quick highlights here. Democrats on Monday filed an emergency. That's we already talked about that one. So down to the Iranian deal. Let's see. Oh, they've just overlaid it with another story. So just tracking. It's interesting to me, the debate that's happening over Iran and us being in Iran. And so I guess the question now is, there was a whole lot of people that were against a ground invasion. We know that we don't have, short of, and you don't want to use nuclear weapons on them. But, that's the thing. It's just turn them into a glass factory. That would all be over. But, nuclear weapons are, we're arguing against their nuclear capability, and we're going to use nuclear weapons to enforce a no nuclear. It doesn't sound like good policy to me. But we don't have conventional weapons capable. They've taken everything underground to protect it. I'm curious if we even know where it's all at. We don't have the weapons to do that. So it's almost like a ground invasion. And that's why Trump's trying to negotiate, but he's negotiating through Pakistan and negotiating through back channels. It's not like and we're not even sure who's in charge of the country, and nobody wants to be in charge of that country because they keep killing them. The life expectancy of a Khomeini is not very good. Oh, so that's got to be. So what happens is, okay, we'll surrender nuclear weapons. Now we have to have inspectors come in and verify all this stuff. They're going to show us what they want. It's almost like it's almost like we've heard this story already. I don't see how we're going to do it without a ground invasion. But early on, people were dead set against a ground invasion. So now where are we? 806-680-2790. Would you support a ground invasion now to get this over with? It's all fun and games until it costs $150 to fill your pickup up. Oh, now something's got to be done. We cannot allow that country to continue with their nuclear program. Venezuela, big argument over that, but that was a 30-minute flight time for a missile to Florida. We could not allow China to have that foothold. That had to be taken. Majada had to be taken out. That was key. Now Iran's also a problem, and the economy is paying for it. And so, I don't know. I'm ready for it to be over. Your thoughts, 806-680-2790. Take a quick break. Back to wrap up the show when we come back. See you in a minute.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, The Chad Hasty Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own backing. You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal. Nobody panic. Bun is still at daycare. And never put them in harm's way. I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers. But never happens. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Securing America.
The Pentagon continues to emphasize how it's changing the way it does business with defense contractors. In a recent social media video, War Secretary Pete Hegseth spoke about how contractors used to double dip.
They charge you, the taxpayer, to build their factories, and then charge you again for the final product.
He says that will no longer happen.
Now, when a defense company expands its production to sell more equipment to the U.S. military, they pay the bill. They pay for new factories, assembly lines, manufacturing plants, not the taxpayer.
Hegseth added that the changes are working.
Defense companies are making things in higher volumes, much more quickly while keeping their prices flat.
The secretary says if a company doesn't deliver, the Pentagon will find someone else who will. He addressed several contractors in person during his recent Arsenal of Freedom tour. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
This is Gordon Deal. Join me for America's First News, weekday mornings at 5 on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
All right, welcome back. 806-680-2790. I did take a look at the radar. There is nothing out there. Nothing. There's no color at all. It's just dark. Just a dark sweep. Nothing happening. And we need some rain so bad. I don't know, Abilene, some of those areas down there, I don't know how much y'all got, but it wrapped around Lubbock. Lubbock didn't get any. We need some rain really bad. Congratulations to those of you who did get some. So it's wrapping up looking at that Iran. Here's the problem. As I jump over to the second article I was looking at, so there's talk that the Iranian power players could escape to Russia. These talks keep faltering. The collapse of the high-stake negotiations has intensified the fears that senior figures inside Tehran's leadership could flee to Russia, seeking refuge to continue their insurgency under any new regime. Benjamin Netanyahu went on 60 Minutes, or was talking to 60 Minutes. I haven't seen I don't watch it 60 Minutes anymore, but he says that the toppling regime toppling the Iran's regime could now be a realistic outcome. Netanyahu noted that any collapse would dismantle the scaffolding of Tehran's global terror proxy network. I don't know. potentially ending Hezbollah's influence in that region. The whole scaffolding of the network that Iran built collapses if the regime in Iran collapses, he says. I think you can't predict when it will happen. Is it possible? Yes. Guaranteed? No, he warns. With diplomatic options perhaps exhausted in the regime's stability in question, an expert suggests the exit strategy any leadership may be eyeing might be similar to that of the Syrian president Bashar al-Assad, who fled Syria in 2024. The situation deteriorates further. Some figures could potentially follow a path like Assad's inner circle and seek refuge in Russia. Let's see. Senior advisor at the United Against Nuclear Iran noted that flight destinations would likely depend on rank as to where they went. Top commanders like Parliament Speaker, the Parliament Speaker might head to Moscow. Lower-ranking figures might seek shelter in Iraq or Afghanistan. The most senior figures, Russia would probably be the most likely destination, as we saw with al-Assad. The current crisis started following the death of the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei earlier in the year with the onset of Operation Epic Fury. Nobody wants to take that on. His son, the Khamenei Jr., was named successor. Reports continue to indicate he was severely injured in the strikes and has been absent from recent negotiations. Let's see. If he had died from his injuries, yeah, that's the thing is there's talk he's dead. Nobody knows if he's dead. There's no video that says he's alive or dead. There's no clear natural successor if he is dead. He was the continuation of the regime. The system was designed for continuity during crisis to make sure the regime could survive even if formal institutions were damaged. So when you look at all that, here's what bothers me about it. We see power vacuums happen in the Middle East. The Arab Spring was a perfect example, and then ISIL and ISIS filled that power vacuum. And so the idea is just because the Iranian regime leaves, that Hezbollah is going to leave too. Is Israel going to go in and occupy Iran? Is the United States going to go in and occupy Iran? There's no talk of that. It's all going to be okay because the regime's going to leave and it's going to topple. Well, what happens to the country, to the people? Do they form a new government? Do they thrive out of this? Do they starve to death? This doesn't seem to be a plan to me. Now, I think it's plausible they'll flee. Absolutely. I think they'll flee, and of course, it seems like Russia will house anybody. What do they care? They're partners. Does that mean Russia's going to move in and try to seize the oil? It's when you get oil and you get money and you get dollars and you get that kind of position in the Middle East and that strategic location and that influence, it just doesn't seem like this is all going to be rainbows. Like Netanyahu, that regime's going to topple. It's all going to be okay. We're getting there. I don't know. Seems to me that terrorist organizations might get embedded in that country. There might be a bigger, and then if we have to go into a ground invasion, there might be some resistance. May not be the walk in the park. I don't know. We'll leave that to the War College. We'll leave that to the people that study this. But it just doesn't seem like it's going to be. If it was a walk in the park, and that regime is going to, why hasn't it happened already? Why has it taken so long? Is it because we're not invading? Because we're just standing off? Because, I mean, really, to me, all we've done is we did the strikes early on. Now we've got a blockade around them, and we're seeing oil slicks in the water and talks of how their infrastructure is collapsing and they're not able to contain all the oil that they're pumping or the gas that they're making or or whatever, spilling into the straits. I don't know. It's almost like you want to go over there and see if it's all true. Who knows? Anyway, all I know is gas is expensive here. We need to have an end to that. Something has to be done, and 18 cents a gallon is not. The supermarket reward points give me more than 18 cents a gallon. That's a better deal than just the gas tax. Of course, it'll help. Doesn't that go to support infrastructure and other things? How long is it going to get suspended? Is Congress going to approve it? I don't know. I'd like to see what's happening with that Venezuelan crude. We should have a surplus now. Isn't that what they said? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, enjoyed being with you today. Always do. This is the Texas Town Square Media Network. I'm Steve Evans. I believe we're back tomorrow. God willing. Same time, same great station. Until then, have a great evening. See you later.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.